Okay, so today we'll discuss about QTP. So actually, it's upgraded to UFT. We have the new version, UFT. Okay, but I'm giving you like an introduction on QTP. So why do we use? Why do we need this? Okay, so why do we need this? Because let's say you are doing manual testing. Okay, you are doing manual testing, and your boss or a lead told you to do. First, they said, okay, you have pretty good experience. Okay, in your resume, you told like you have a lot of knowledge about manual, and looks like you're good. So why don't you do this regression testing? Now, since you're manual, we know manual testing, okay, so we are good. Now, since you have assigned a different job altogether, a different thing, which is of course related to testing, but it's a little bit different from manual testing. Here, the same thing you'll be doing, but here you'll be using a tool called UFT or Selenium or Load Runner or SOAP UI or whatever, Load UI or whatever tools. Here you'll be starting to get used to using the tools, okay. In regression testing. So this is more of a regression testing we'll be doing. So we are good with functional testing, we have done sanity testing, smoke testing, it's all good. Okay. Here what we'll discuss is about regression testing. Okay. So what is this regression testing? We have already discussed about this. You have this various modules integrated. Okay. Let's take an example. Again, the people who have, sorry. Okay. So the people who have missed this, let's quickly check once again. So why do we need this regression testing? Let's say, you have this google.com. Okay, let's take an example. Here you are testing, you have done this functional testing. You have tested each and every functionality here. Everything is good. Now what Google wants is they want to integrate all the apps. They have integrated all the apps here. Do you see this apps? Okay. Now, because of integration of that app, because of integration of that particular application from the third party or the same different vendor, you don't have to be third party. Again, it is same from Google.com. So they want to make sure the whole website is good or not. Okay. Now, because of integration, they don't want to, see that the code is broken or not. Let's say Google.com is not working just because they integrated this app. So now, since your manual testing is done, you cannot do double testing, right? You have already done this, right? You're not going to do this again. No way. So that's the reason that regression testing comes into the picture. Okay, after this is normally happens after integration testing. Okay, let's say integration testing, incremental integration testing. We are done with that. After that, you actually normally come to regression testing because you're not doing manual testing anymore. You're done with this. Your sign off. Okay, you sign off with this manual testing, and you need to use tools here. Okay, so what the tool we'll be using here is UFT. So QTP is in older version. Why am I explaining about QTP? Because we'll get used to these buttons. These buttons will be okay. The buttons may not be there in the new, but the functionalities remain same. The old functionality, they don't remove it completely. There will be functionalities. They will be doing that. So let's quickly check in the QTP, and we'll just look into this code. Let's see how the code works here. Okay, let's have just an overview. I'm not really explaining about the code at this time. Okay, we are not really worried about the code, but just an overview to have an idea how it's. So all the QTP scripts, all the scripts, whatever is generated by QTP or UFT is by VB scripts. So these are VB scripts. That means you can write it from scratch manually, or you can do it by yourself. Okay, this tool helps you to generate the scripts for your testing. Let's say you are a QTP tester. You're not designing scripts, or you're not doing anything. You have that script, and you just need to click that button, run button, just play button, that right arrow button, just play button, just click on that, and this whole job will be done by the QTP, not by you. Okay, so let's quickly check. So here is the process. So in testing process, what you do here is first you need to prepare for record. So here is the thing. So how does QTP works? You just do record and playback. Once record, see, it's like you record once and play back many times. Okay, you can play back any number of times. You have the script ready. Just repeat that script, edit that script. Whatever you want to put the stuff in the script. You want to edit it, you want to remove it, or you want you can do a lot of things once you have the script in your hand. Okay, you're not creating by yourself. You can create later stage moving forward. You can do that by yourself. But here in this scenario, you are actually the QTP is helping you out to generate the script. So you're not really, you're not designing any scripts from scratch. Okay, so that's once you prepare for a record, you do recording. So what recording are you doing here? You are recording an application. Okay, let's say here is this application. What are you doing in this? You're recording. So that means you're clicking on this button. Okay, this web page is showing up that will get recorded. Click on this button, that is getting recorded. That means QTP should understand that you're clicking that button. Okay, and now you're entering some value. That means QTP understands. Okay, it has to take 10. And after that, click on this button. So all this is being recorded. So all these features, whatever the objects, whatever the values, whatever the properties, all gets recorded. So that's recording. Okay, QTP takes care of it. You don't have to do anything. Just click that record button and just navigate this website. Make sure you do it with mouse. Okay, so if you're using keyboard, make sure you use the appropriate recording option there. Okay, so enhancing a test. So that's called recording. Okay, so that's recording. What you do in recording, just put that play button. I'm sorry, not play button, that red colored box, record. Okay. Once you record, that script is generated, and then once the script is generated, you enhance it. That means you remove some of the features you don't require, you think this is not really required, or you add it by yourself. Once you get used to this code, you just remove this, add it, that's called enhancing the test script. Then you debug in sense you can run that script whenever you want. I mean, you're running some part of the script, not just whole script or something. You're just running the part of the script, and want to see how this, how the application is behaving, what QTP is trying to do. That's called debugging. And then you run the test and analyze the result. So once you do that, debugging is good. Now you run with complete features, and you run this and you analyze the results. That means this results is automatically generated by the QTP and stored in some framework or some directory. Okay. Now once that gets generated, you want to analyze the results. Okay, what are the features we have tested, how many applications we have tested, how many pages it has gone through, a lot of things. So that's called analyzing the results and reporting these defects. Now there should not be many defects here. Okay, there should not be many defects. If there are many defects here and your boss catches hold of this, okay, now this is a stage where not QTP guy gets caught. Here again manual guy gets caught, because the next question will be from your boss saying that why it has been detected in regression phase, why not in manual phase, right? So that's a very valid question, right? Why not in manual stage, and why in regression? Why this is happening in this? Okay, so that's where you need to answer that. So this is where again testers gets catch here. Okay, they here you're not supposed to get many, because it takes a lot of the faster it gets fixed. I mean, there's like development testing, regression testing, so on, right? The first place it gets fixed. Let's say if the developer found an issue, we fix it. So that's very economical for the company, very economical for everyone. Now, if the issues keep on showing up in the later stage, now that's an issue. Okay, you don't want to show up in production. That is one more, because company has to pay more money, have to spend more on this if it issues gets showed up in later stage. So that's not good. So here, if the issues are shows up, then testers are going to get caught, not the regression testers guys, manual testers, because the next question will be there, why it has been detected in regression testing, why not in manual testing, right? So because manual testing should be good. So if not, there will be no issues in regression testing. But if there is an issue, then that's the reason. Like I told you to put the screenshots when you are attaching the attachment in the testing, executing the executing your test cases, because this way you can have an concrete answer for your boss saying that, see, look at my screenshot. This issue was never happened before. I'm not sure what exactly happened. The code got merged, or developer changed some code. We are not aware of this, but this issue was not there in where we were testing. Okay, so that's the reason you have an answer, so that So that's the reason I told you to attach the screenshots, and in the attachment, take some MS Word, attach the screenshots, what you are doing, every page you are doing, what you are doing, all should be recorded. Okay, so here we have next one, add-in manager. Okay, so QTP doesn't recognize everything. Okay, so it's only QTP only recognizes a few of things. Okay. It only knows a few basic applications, but if you need more applications, let's say there are a lot of things happens in web page, right? There's videos, there's a JavaScript, there's a database, tables, all those things, a lot of things, complicated things you have in the web page in HTML itself. So it doesn't, QTP doesn't recognize everything. So that's the reason you have these add-ins for separate for each one. Let's say you have this video player, you have ActiveX, okay, Flash player, and all those things. So you need to enable this, or you need to install some plugin, add-ins to have this. Okay, in add-in manager, so you can add add-ins based on the requirement. So whatever the requirement is, so based on that, you can add this add-ins. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Record, and so here you have these two modes. Okay, two modes. That is, one is recording modes and running modes. Okay, once how do you want to record it and how do you want to run it? Okay, so there are three types of recording here: normal recording, analog recording, and low level recording. So normal recording is like you want to record it normal, that is left mouse clicks. Normally left mouse clicks. Okay, and you can add some keyboard numbers like alphabets. You can do that. That's normal recording. Analog recording is it's kind of when you want to use keyboards shortcuts. Kind of if you're using like tabs. Okay, if you're using tab, or you're using some shift button. Okay, such kind of things. You want to use as analog recording. And then you have low level recording. Low level recording is like the example is. It's like right clicks of mouse buttons. So here is the thing, because here you are using this right click, this different pop-up, different pop-up shows up here. But here if you are using this is a different pop-up again. Okay, so that's the thing which you need to consider if you are really looking into such kind of scenarios. You really want to work on low level recording or analog recording. Okay, so other than that, normal recording is good. Then you have this run modes. How do you want to run? You want to run it normal or fast? When after you record, you need to run, right? Then you want to use this, normal recording or fast recording. So next, go to the next slide. Okay, so here we use this. Okay. Okay, so this is the interface of QTP. This is an old interface. No, it's no more this kind of interface. But we'll just go to these buttons. Buttons remain same. Okay. So we'll just just go through this pretty quick. So here, let's. Okay. So this is the title bar. Okay. So this is called title bar, where you don't have to do anything. The title bar is nothing really to do. It just shows up what what is recording or what is playing. Here it shows up if there's any default option. And here you have this option, minimize, maximize and close buttons here. That is called title bar. Next you have this menu bar. Okay, this menu bar, here you have this option. So menu bar will be constant in every client application. So don't have to QTP, Selenium or whatever you are using. This menu bar will be always there. Okay. So if you don't find anything which is there, you just search this menu bar, you can do that or Google it, you'll find this. So it will be there in this menu bar. Okay. And that has options of course, files, edit, view, inserts, all those things. It has an option here. Okay, so that's about menu bar. Then you have this file toolbar where you have options here. If you want to open a new, okay, if you want to create new script, you put it here script, and if you want to open it, okay, so this is a new option. So this is the new. Okay, you want to open a new script, it's here. You want to open new, so you can do that. And if you want to open an existing file which is already recorded by you, and you need to play back, you want to open it, that is the option. And this is this floppy disk icon is to save. So okay, so somebody asked, right, so why do we need to know this recording? So this is not just recording, this is for, even if you are using this, you need to know some of the features, okay, because you will be working with this tool. I mean, you don't have to, but here is the thing, if you don't know some of the features, you might miss, okay, and you might, okay, if you're good, you can Google it, that's fine, but if you're not really good at this, suddenly there will be a question, you need to answer, you need to answer at that time. So you can say, if you remember something from this, so you can say that right away in front of, lead or in front of, meetings. That's the reason you need to know this recording system. Okay. Not just recording, here you have playback, you'll be doing all things in one application. This is not just recording system, it's record and playback and all things, editing, you do everything here itself. Okay, so that's why you need to know this. And print, if you want to print, this is the option to print. Okay, so and let's go to this. This is quality center connection. Let's say you have HPLM or you have quality center or any other test management tool where you want to connect this. Okay, so if you because you have, let's say you have the test scripts. Okay, so difference between test scripts and test cases, right? Test cases is something which is done by the QA, QA tester, and we need to write the test cases. Test scripts is the script that is generated from QTP or UFT or Roadrunner, whatever scripts. Okay, so that's test scripts. You need to pull out from somewhere. So because someone else will be writing this. Okay, someone else, automation architect or automation designer or automation developer will be writing all the scripts. But you're a tester, right? You're not scripting anything. But you need to pull out the script. You need to run this. Okay, run the script. So this is where you need to connect to the quality center and remove this. Locate the script and pull that script and put it in your QTP, and so that you can run it. Okay. Otherwise, it will be a network drive, or you can have this network drive, or whatever drive you have, you can use that. Otherwise, this is the option for pulling up your scripts. Okay. And this is called object repository. So what is a repository? So whatever. Okay. So let's be detailed here. So can anyone say what is an object? So let's know what is an object in a software application. So I know what is an object. Okay, even if you know anything about an object, can anyone tell what is an object? Okay, so okay, I mean that is okay. So that is, what you're giving is an example of an object. So I know, table is an object, chair is an object, laptop is an object, whatever shows in the screen, that's an object. Screen itself is an object. So I know what it is. Okay, that is an example. So okay, so let's define that. Okay, so how do you define an object? So object is something which contains, which has property and its values, right? So what is an object? Object is something which has both properties and values. Now, what is a property? Let's somebody said like table. Okay, so table is good. It's a physical table, not a database table. Okay, it's a table. Now it's a table. What is the property? It has length. It has height. Okay, it's a 3 dimension, so it also has width. Okay, so now what is the length? 2 meters. That's good. Height. Okay, 3 meters. That's good. What is the width? Half meter. That's fine. So those things, those are the values. And what are the properties? Height, width, length, breadth. So these are properties. So in the similar way, in this in software application, this is similar. Okay. So what is an object? Object is something which has both properties and its values. Let's take here example in this application. So whatever it shows in the screen, that's good. I mean, that's an object. Here is a parent object, which is a browser. Browser is called parent object. Whatever this application is shows, this is a child object, because you cannot get this application without browser. You need a browser, right? So that's a parent object, and these are all child objects. So now let's talk about this button. Okay, to recognize an QTP, this button, enter GM online. Okay, so now QTP has to recognize this button. Okay, enter GM online. Now this QTP only recognizes through these objects which has property and its values. So let's say this button has its both properties and its values. What's the property? Length. Let's say length. Okay, so this is length. Okay, 1 centimeter or something. And this is not a 3-dimensional button. It's a 2-dimensional, so it has only height. Height, okay, 0.5 centimeters. That's fine. Now it has many other properties too. It's like title, enter GM1. Okay, the HTML tag. Okay, so all those things. But unfortunately, all this length and height of these 3 buttons are same. Now QTP won't be able to recognize which button to click, because you click this. Now if but this, all the 3 length and height of these buttons are same value, same property. So you don't know how, QTP doesn't know what button to click. Right? So it has to be unique value of the property, unique property and unique value. Okay, unique value at least. Okay, so that's how QTP recognizes. What is the unique value here? Here we have title, enter GMO online. So because of this, QTP understands that this button has to click and it clicks this button. Okay, so this is all not required when you do, only this is required when you do descriptive programming. So all this, all these properties and values are actually stored here, in this object repository. You can add your own objects, you can add your own properties, you can add your own values, put that values there, dump those values, dump those properties, object is defined, everything you can do it in this object repository. Okay, so that's the where the objects are stored there. These buttons, these child properties, the screens, all this is stored in this object repository. Okay, so next you have this man with the hat guy. So this is object spy. Okay, so we don't know what this object values are, what these properties are, we don't know. So with the click of that man of the hat guy, that spy guy, that's called spy. Okay, so when you click on this and object spy, it's called object spy. When you click on this and click on this button, it shows all the properties and its values. Okay, there is one more way to see this. We'll just quickly check that way. So it's not really recommended to see here. This doesn't have all the information here, but we'll just quickly check it. Here you go. So this is a property, that is input, type is a property, value is button, name, okay, be submit, values, as I told you, right, value, this is also called title, enter GMO online. This is only the one which is unique, right? Okay, this is the JavaScript, that's fine, okay, we are not bothered by this. So this 3 or 4 property of this values, defines this button. That's how QTP recognizes. Okay, so that this guy shows up everything with that. No, this is only 3 here it shows, but here it shows plenty of objects and plenty of properties and its values for this object. Okay, so that's about file toolbar. Okay, that was about this file toolbar. Let's go to the next one. This is debug toolbar. Here, debug toolbar, you can debug. You want to go to particular script and you want to debug it, run the script from in between. Okay, you can do all those things. That's called debug toolbar. Next, you have this testing toolbar. Here, testing toolbar, you record it. Here you can record it. Once you record it, you run it. Once you run it, this button will get enabled. You can stop it. And okay, so this is about testing toolbar. And you have this action. Okay, so you can also create an action. So action, to be in layman language, right, I would say worksheet. What is an action? It's a worksheet. It's kind of, you want to write code, right? You want to generate script or you want to write code, whatever you want to do. You need some space to do it, right? Like Notepad, let's say Notepad. That's an action. We'll go in detail about this. What are types of actions? You can split an action. You can do all these things. But what is an action? In a layman language, it's called worksheet. You need to type something. You need to, put your code, or put your scripts, or whatever you need to do at one space, right? You need a space. That worksheet is called an action. Okay. So then you have this start transaction time and end transaction time. Okay, so why do we need that? So let's say you are, you want to know the granularity of an application. So you want to, navigating this page, let's say how much time it is taking to click, after clicking this button, how much time it takes to move from one page to another. Okay, so you want to know all this information from 3 pages, from 4 pages, how much time it's really taking. So all this, you want to make it note. So you want to put a start transaction time and end transaction time, so you can know how much time is, how much microseconds is taking, how many milliseconds is taking, and you want to see why it's behaving in this and all those things. So that's the reason you need this start transaction time and end transaction time. And these two are analog recording and low level recording. Okay, and this is no, action toolbar, where you have this action. You can select your own action. Okay, and this is test pane. So you have these two options here: test pane of keyword view. This is the keyword view, and export view. Export view is all code. You will have all the code in that. In keyword view, you have all these objects and values. So let's see, this is an item. That means which buttons it's relating to, which screenshot it's relating to, and all those things. I'm sorry, with images, buttons, static text, static buttons, all those things. And operation, what kind of operation are you performing? Is it select, is it click, or is it drop down? Okay, and then what's the value for this? Okay, what you're trying to do, and what's the value for this? Okay, you're performing some operation, what's the end value for this? Okay, so this is the value, and this information about what it actually does. So it's actually, this is an object. This item is actually an object, and this is a value for this an object. Okay, and there is not really property. So this is not your property, but the value for this is this. Okay, and this is an explanation about this. So this is a test pane view. In the export view, you don't have all this. In the expert view, there's a direct code in it. So you need to go through that code, understand that code, what really does, and the code is in VB script. Okay. So that's the test pane. And next you have this data table. So this is a data table. Okay. So this data table, this is kind of Excel sheet, not exactly Excel sheet, is integrated, data table for, QTP. Okay, this is designed for QTP, not for any MS Excel or something. Okay, this is data table. So why do we need that? So let's say you are recording once. Recording once, you need to record twice. You need to record. You cannot do that, right? You have to record 4 times. You have to record. So there is something called iterations. No, you perform these iterations, but there is something called parameterization. So what the parameterization, let's say you have this, let's take an example. Okay, we discussed in the parameterization in detail, but let's quickly check here. So what is exactly parameterization? So let's, I've recorded once. I've recorded once with this whole script, and I just proceeded with order. And I fill up this information here, and let's put this credit card number. So let's say I've recorded all this, I've recorded all this, but I record only for my name. Okay, so I just recorded only for my name, but I'm not alone, right? There are customers' data of, there's thousands, maybe there's millions of customers' data. And place an order, it goes through and it's good. But just because it went good for me doesn't mean that it has to be good for everyone. So there might be some issue with the customer. The customer name may not be right. Something issue. So you are recording once. So you are not doing this many times, just once. Now you need to edit this data. Instead of my name, you need to put somebody else's name. Instead of this address, it will be different address, different city, different set. All these things are different. Okay, so what you do is you record once and then you later parameterize that value. So you're parameterizing what? The value for this. So name static text will be same. What you'll put here instead of name, you put some value like name. Okay, so I put this name. So and what you do in this data table, right? You put that instead of name, put a column and put a name. You put the values here. So that's how you can record this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first name, second name, third name, and so on. Okay. So what you're trying to do here is you're parameterizing that. So recording once, playing back many. So that happens, that is called iterations. So one iteration, two iteration, third iteration, so on. So that QTP runs one after the other. Okay. So the same script, same recording, same flow, different customer, altogether different customers, 10 customers, 20 customers, so on. And you have parameterized all this data here and put all the data in this data table, and you're running the script, right? So that's called parameterization, and that's why this data table is required. Okay. And then you have this active screen here. This active screen actually, is used for screenshots, kind of a real-time screenshot. Whenever you're moving your scripts, just if you have these checkpoints, this shows in purple color. See this, and you can have these checkpoints. It shows here. We'll go detail about these checkpoints. Okay, so this is some of the information about this QTP. Any questions here? So let's move to the next slide pretty quick. So in the regression testing, you may or may not, mostly yes, you'll be creating test cases. Okay. Now these manual test cases are different, regression test cases are different. So don't combine each other. The two things are different. Okay. Because this is done by a different team, this is done by a different team. You may help to this team, preparing for the test cases, or helping them with the application, because regression testing people may not be always aware what manual testing are doing. Okay, so they are not really sure what's happening with the manual testing, because they are not in the team, they are not domain related, but they need some information from the manual testing so that they can proceed. So they might see your test cases, how you have designed, how the application moves. So they have they need to know some of your test cases to create their own test cases. Okay, so you need to this also will be there. Test cases designing for regression testing. Okay, so let's go to this. So this is what we're talking about, the object repository. So what is an object repository? Whatever values and whatever property is being stored in the object repository. So this is how object repository is. Let me okay, good. So oops. Okay, so this is the object repository. Okay, window. This is the object repository window. And this is the property, right? This is a property of an object. Okay, and this is a value. Okay, so this we have discussed, right? It's an object contains both property and its value. That is a value. Okay, so it contains type, name, HTML tag, title, height, length, and so on. Here it's not shown too many, but that's how it will be. And you can create your own, add in your own object and define your own property. You can do that. Okay, so that's an option then. And you can add or remove your own property. So this is really not required. You cannot really add a property by yourself. Okay, so but you can also do that. Okay. Okay, so this is about object repository window. So let's go to this next one. So object spy. So now you see this man with the hat guy. So that's the object spy. Okay, so this is the window. It shows up. This is the window, and you need to click this hand icon. See, look at this button. Once you click on this, and once you click on this, and you need to click on. Oops. After clicking that, you need to click on some button. Let's say you want to know the property and values of this button. Once you click on this hand window and click on this, it will show you property and its value for that button. Okay, so that's about object 5. And so how, for each object class, QTP, has its own properties that it recognizes, that is mandatory properties, assistive properties, and ordinal identifier. Okay, and here it shows, right, you only a few properties are needed to uniquely identify an object. Let's say you're doing a descriptive programming. Okay, now you are doing some programming here. You need to know the unique property and value of an object. Let's say this is an object, right? This is a button. So what's an object name is button. And what's it, it has length, it has height. But to identify this title is the, unique identity. What's the title? Return to home page. This is the title of this button, right? This is the title of this button. And to identify it, you need to write in the code saying that return to home page. When you write that, that means it, QTP, because there is no other, property and values in the whole screen, right? So that's how QTP can understand, that's what it means. Like only few properties are to, really required to uniquely identify this object. Okay, so let's go to the next topic, synchronization. Synchronization. So why do we need this synchronization? So, whenever you're using this application, right, you are using this QTP, okay, and now QTP goes really fast. Once you run this, it really goes fast. Now, for some reason, the server is slow. Server is slow, the application is really slow. And you know this, that it is slow, and, and QTP is really going fast, and if the QTP doesn't get in a time of microsecond or some microsecond, it throws an error, so it's failed. Now, just because you have given only time of microsecond, okay, and it takes some time to move that page from one page to another, and QTP thinks, okay, it doesn't, the page didn't move in microsecond, and now it's a defect. Now the QTP throws an error and the test case is failed. You don't need that. Okay, just because you have given very less time, just a microsecond, and there's an issue in the servers, it takes some time to move that application from one page to another. So now what you're trying to say to QTP is wait. Now there is a really code for this called wait. Okay. Now, whenever you have this code here, you just after that code you write as wait 10. That means wait for 10 seconds. Wait 5. That means wait for 5 seconds. That means then QTP waits to move that page from one page to another, then executes the next code. Okay. So that's why you require the synchronization, because if the application is slow, it's moving a little bit slow, and this, and the server is slow, and the application is really becomes slow. So you are saying QTP to wait. Okay. So now how can you use this? You can go into menu bar. You go to insert step, and this will be same. I think it will be same for UFT too. These options are same. Only shortcuts are not there in UFT, but these options will be same. Okay. Go to the insert step synchronization point, and let's say this is a code. Okay, this is a code. That's called window. What is a window? It's kind of pop-up. These are all similar names: pop-up, window. This one more term. Just want to remember that. Okay. So there is a pop-up window saying that flights. That means it's the name of the pop-up window is flight. Okay, good. Win button. That means that some button. So win button is Windows button. Okay, so that means it's a button of Windows. It's not Mac, not Linux. It's not. So that's called win button. That means Windows button. And update order is a button name. Okay, good. And dot wait. Okay, so here you are using this option here. You are actually putting that code here and you're adding this. So once you do this, so that means you're adding in code here. Status. What's the status? Now Windows flight dot dialog. Okay, so the dialog box. Dialog box is again a pop-up. Pop-up, window, dialog box. All these are different pop-up windows name. Okay, and flight table, that means dialog box name is flight table that exists. If it exists, then wait. If it doesn't exist, then it doesn't execute this code. Okay, so that's a statements to write to synchronize this test. This should be done only in a code. You can do it only in the code. Okay. Then you have this checkpoints. We'll go a little bit fast here. Checkpoints. So why do we need these checkpoints? We require this checkpoint to see, this is manually. You want to see that page exists or not. You want to see that image exists or not. So all these things. So there is a like standard checkpoint. If you don't know what checkpoint you're using, you can use a standard checkpoint. Okay. Otherwise, there's an image checkpoint. Let's go to this. Okay, So image checkpoint. Let's say you want to checkpoint this image. Is this image really on this here? You want to click on this and enter this checkpoint. So that's called image checkpoint. You have table checkpoint, which this table. This table. You can also do table checkpoint here. You are actually checking the table here. So here you cannot see table here, right? So let's see the code. You have this table. Technically, you are actually using this table here. Okay. So let's check pretty good. Here you see this table. Okay, so that's the table. You see this? So this is the table. Okay, you are actually the table is not visible here. So you want to do this table checkpoint. Okay. Page checkpoint, if you are checking the whole page altogether, so you want to do this page checkpoint. In text checkpoint, if you want to check this text here, GM online, this is text checkpoint. You want to see this, the name is correct, the alphabets are correct. You want to do this text, and you want to see text area checkpoint. And let's say you want to see the area between this text. What is the area? That's called text area checkpoint. So this really not required for everything, every project. It's based on what kind of project you are using. You don't use all this in one. Okay, don't always use that. Then you have bitmap checkpoint. It's similar to image checkpoint if you are using. Then the database checkpoints. Database checkpoints are whenever you are connecting to external database like Oracle database or MySQL database. You use this database checkpoint. So these are the checkpoints. If you want to insert it, look at this. You can do this. So this is the purple color. You see this? That is checkpoint actually. So you are trying to see the checkpoint. The purple color. This is manually. You're not doing anything automated. You want to see with your own eyes. So that's called checkpoint. Okay. And here you can insert this checkpoint, and you can you can see this. You have an option here to go to checkpoints. You can use from menu bar. Okay, in the menu bar, go to insert checkpoint, and you can select any checkpoint you want. So that's the one option. Or you can use the right click, and you can use this checkpoint. Okay, so let's go to this regular expressions. That's fine. Parameters. Okay, so okay, so we discussed about this parameterization. So this is what is called parameterization. So why do we need this parameterization? Because you cannot record. So let's say there is a data. There is the data for 100 people to run the script. Now you cannot record 100 times. So that's not efficient way of doing that. That's not even that's not even, you cannot even consider that to working. Okay, that's the that's no way you do this. Okay, there's 100 customers that you need to test. So we have we have created one scenario, recorded. Let's say we have recorded one scenario that's on my name. Let's say I've already shown this. So let's quickly go to this. So we have recorded only for one. Now all these things here recorded, and now you want to put some other name, like just like there's more 100 records to test that same similar thing. Now what you do is here you have this option, right? Okay, here they have taken example. This is we've discussed this. This is an item. That means it's an object. And what is the operation you're performing? Is it select operation? Is it click button? Or it's a drop down box? Whatever the operation. And this value. So what's the value? So instead of this value, we are changing that, giving some variable name. So here you are giving some variable name instead of that constant. We are removing that and putting that variable there. And what you're trying to do here is just put it as constant and remove that. Put that variable as p item or p underscore item or whatever the item. And you're telling QTP to look into this. Look where? Data table. Okay, you're saying QTP to look into this data table. So now here you have options to see either global sheet. Okay. So here you have this option to global sheet, or you want to use only current sheet. Okay, you can do that. And once you do this, hit OK. And here in this data table, you put this parameter. Once you do this, you enter values here. Now instead of my name, now let's say you have this plenty of name to be run, right? Let's say 100 people, 100 people you're running, and you need to select all these 100, enter all the 100 values here, and just click run. That's it. That is parameterization. Okay, that's parameterization. Now once you run it, if there's errors, it shows this all this test result is shown, is stored in particular directory or particular result, default directory, and you can see if there is any run. So here it shows. Okay, let me be more specific on this. So here it shows all its iterations, how many scripts it has run, how many, all this information is showed here, and how many is passed, how many has failed, showed here. This is a summary. This is the result summary. Okay. And let's go to the next one. So you can also do parameterize checkpoint. You can do that. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. So any questions in parameterization? Parameterization should be simple. Okay, you have 100. So let's take an example here to sum up the whole parameterization. You have 100 records to test. Now you're not recording 100 times, right? You know where you're doing that. You're recording once and repeating 100 times. So that's what whole point of parameterization. Now that's the thing, different thing how you're doing it. You're entering these values in a data table, or using Excel sheet, or using some database, or whatever you want to use, do it. It's up to you how you want to use. They have provided global data sheet for QTP, so use that. That's good. Okay, so it's really up to you how you want to use it. So that's the parameterization. Okay, so actions. As we discussed, what are the action? Action is layman language says worksheet. Okay, so there's two types of action: regular action, that is non-reusable, and then it's a reusable action. Now, what really exactly mean by regular, non-reusable, and reusable? Non-reusable, that means you use once, that's it. In your system, that's gone. You cannot use it. Reusable in sense, let's say you're creating some library files. Let's say you want to prepare some function. You want to put it in a library because you're recalling that function. You cannot write 200 lines of code again and again for nothing. You don't want to do that. So that's why you want to use reusable action. You create that action, put it into library file, throw it in library file, and you run it, recall that function again. You can do that. So that's the reason you use reusable function. Okay, and let's go to the next one. So there you can have actions of two types: locally and externally. Locally in sense in your system, and externally is which you can recall from a network drive, or whatever network you are connected to. So that's about actions. Let's move to the next one. Here you can insert action from here. Okay, let's quickly show it up here. So as I told you, right, at the in menu bar, so not really menu bar, this is testing toolbar. And here you have this action. You can split an action. You can, create a new action whenever you want. You can use parameterization. So here's the way to call up. You can do this in the insert to go to menu bar, click on insert. I know you can do all these things. You can call new action, copy new action. So this is the way to do the action. How do you want to use an action? Okay. So if we want to make it reusable, just go to action properties. That is located in, again, it's located here. Once you open this, you can get into properties, and here you check mark this reusable. That means you can use it again and again. Once you use it, throw it into the library file, and you can recall that file whenever you want. So that's about reusable action. Okay, let's recall. Okay, so if I take like 5 to 10 minutes, is it okay? I'll just take 5 to 10 minutes, just will finish this slide. Okay, so we have recovery scenarios. Here we have recovery scenarios. Why do we need this recovery scenarios? Let's say you're running a script. Now this script takes 24 hours, okay, 24 to 50 hours, right? Now that's a long time. That's a long time. We don't sit continuous to just seeing that scripts. That's not a good idea. You don't do that. And now that script is pretty long. It takes too much time, 24 hours. Now you don't sit on the system. Okay. Now what happens, right? Let's say there is some issue there. There is this server issue or something like that. And suddenly, when you're running the script, a pop-up window shows up for no reason. And there is no pop-up window in your script. This, everyone knows this. But there's some server issue. The developer is working on that. That's an issue. So we know this. Now, QTP doesn't know. We know, everyone knows in the team, QTP doesn't know. So what you need to instruct QTP saying that, don't worry about pop-up window, continue with your script. We are not wasting time, 50-hour script, and just at 49th hour and the script whole fails. We cannot run again the whole script, that's not good. So what you're trying to here is do is recovery scenario. So you are putting either there are 3 types here. So trigger event, recovery option, post-recovery option. Okay. Here what you do is, let's say here a pop-up window. Let's say we have designed for this pop-up window. There is a pop-up window showing up again and again, but you're creating a event, trigger event. Whenever that pop-up window shows up, QTP ignores that and continues with the remaining script. Doesn't execute the script. That's, we take it as good. Don't worry about it. It continues with the other script. So that's what you're creating in. This is called recovery scenario. That's the reason you need this recovery scenario, because it's always, pop-up window shows up and you don't want. So there are options here. Let's say if you are using this trigger, let's say you're always using this trigger event, right? Scenario. What you use, there are various options here. Pop-up window or object states. Let's say there's some error in the test run error, an application crash, all this, this. If you are using this, you can check mark that, and you can use your own trigger event. So that's about the trigger event. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. Descriptive programming. Okay, let's go to the next topic. This is descriptive programming. Here, what you are trying to do is, if we know this object repository, okay, so we know this object repository, a lot of objects are stored in object repository. We don't need to worry about any objects, values, or properties. That's fine. Now, when the application is a dynamic application, what is a dynamic application? Application keeps on changing. Sometimes the button was here, sometimes the button was right place, sometimes the button is on left page. All these things are happening. So that's dynamic web page. Okay. Things keep on changing, and new things come up, new things show up. Now you cannot use that same thing because that script is gone. You cannot do record every time the script. Today it was there, tomorrow it suddenly changed. That's not good, right? You cannot use that, record and playback every time you like, because if the application is dynamic application, then you need to do descriptive programming. That means you need to code all things by yourself. That's called descriptive programming. So, since we already have some knowledge in this, about this code, because we know what the code has, what code has, it always has object properties and its values. So that's what, simple. And always it's a dialog box or window, win button, or win edits, all these things. So this predefined predefined options you have. Okay, so so let's quickly check once descriptive programming. Let's go to pretty quick code here. Okay, so here is the code. Let's a little bit go through this code. So now this is a descriptive programming. Why you're writing your own code here? So let's say there is a window. So what's again window? Let's quickly check if we can find this window. So window we have. This is a window, but it's a pop-up button. Okay, so here you see this window. So let's take here an example. This is a window. Okay, let's take an example here. That's a window and error. So here this doesn't have really name. We say that demo.golang. So instead of that, it shows an error. Win button. Okay, good. This is win button. This is not Mac button. This is not Linux button. This is win button, right? The button name is text. Text is property and the value is okay. So text is property and value is okay. Click on okay. Oh, oops. Okay, back. Okay, so that means width. Okay, so it's defining again. This is a property. This is a value. You are defining this here in this button. You are defining the properties and values. And dot click. So dot click is normally you want to click this. So instead of clicking mouse, you are telling your PTP to click this. Okay. Okay. So that's what this whole code is about. Code, that means it shows that code. This is a window, right? This is a window. What is it? It's an error. Okay, it's an error window, and what you are defining here is entering this property and values and telling the QTP to click. Okay, and that's the code is all about. And you can. So that's a simple. Okay, so that means for that window. Okay, you're telling the window to click. Okay, this cancel button. You can write its own code, and this has its own weight. Okay, it's same weight. You can roll the code dot cancel. Okay, that means dot click, not cancel. Sorry, but win button text will be cancel. Okay, so that's how you can write your own code here. How to click buttons, how to so. If you're clicking in a different button, you can, again, look at this, same thing, but here win button is my description and clicking this my description button. Okay, so that's the, a little bit the code of this descriptive programming. Any questions? Okay, so this is again, all these slides are in Google Drive. Feel free to look into this, feel free. Okay, you also have the software. Okay, you have this QTP software. In the drive itself, you don't have to So this is a little bit complex process. If you want to download by yourself, you need to register in HP and it's a lot of things. But there is also software. Try that. If it doesn't work, send me an email. Okay, I'll look into this, or I'll put in new software because I think it's a little bit old. But you can try that. And if you're really interested, you can work on that software. Any questions so far? So to understand this code, that's a good question. So how do you understand the code? So to understand the code, just always you need to start from scratch. Actually, but if you have some idea, okay, let me quickly check. So, actually to understand this, you need to start from scratch. So there is a website actually. Okay, good. This is the website qtp.blogspot.com. And once you click on that, because to start with, you cannot understand the code itself. That's a little bit not really understandable. But you can go through this QTP tutorials. Okay, go ahead and click on this QTP tutorials, and you also have this QTP scripts too. Okay, so here you have plenty of tutorials to go through, and first you can understand what's this tutorial do. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and go with the QTP script. So you'll have some better understanding how how to write a script when you do this, how to write a script when you import an Excel. So this is like step-by-step process. Oh, okay, how to copy a data from Excel file to for the script. So they have, I think they have given that script itself. No script. Sometimes they give the script. Oops. Ah. Sometimes they already give the script here itself. What they're trying to do here. Just you can look through the script. What's trying to do and what we are trying to we are trying to compare two files and what is the script. So this is all in Visual Basic Code. You can if you want you can go through this and understand what the you need to look into this code. Okay, so you need to look. It's not really that simple. I would say it's not really simple, but by looking this code, you can really get an idea what's happening, what's actually it's trying to do, and what's the functions you're using, and all those things. You're able to understand. So the website name is qtp.blogspot.com. Goes to it anyway. Okay, so it's qtp.blogspot.com. You have this in syllabus. You can go ahead and refer here. Or descriptive programming. You also have this descriptive programming here. Here they are using this code. You see this? Just go through this. What's actually the requirement is and what this code is trying to do with this whole thing. Okay. So this should be good. You can go through it if you're really interested in this. You can. I'd say like don't go in detail with this. Just understand what is really required. And really to practice QTP, you need to download this. Now that's really hard. Okay, so that's really hard to do because you want to practice QTP without downloading tools. That's a really good thing. Actually there is not too many tools that are available online, but there is a one thing. This is a cloud QA. Okay, it's not really a QTP tool, but this is something which you want to do it online. Okay, I think I have. So this is what you're trying to do here is you're doing everything online, just like Rally. Okay. Let me go really quick. Here is like called Cloud QA. This is not really QTP, but if you want to practice it, how this automation works, really this is a good time to do this because you have all this here. Okay, you have test cases, data driven. Okay, you want to run this. All this if you want Chrome, you can do it in the Chrome. You can do it in Safari. You can create your own test case here. Okay, here you see this. Here you want to run this, execute this, and that executes automatically in the backend. You don't know, it happens all in the cloud. Everything happens in the cloud. So this is one thing you want to do this before installing QTP. If you're really not interested, go to Cloud QA. Okay, let's go to this. Just ping it if anyone is interested. If you're really interested, you can go ahead and use this, but it's really a little bit complex to use this to start with. But if you want to explore it, you can do this. Otherwise, you need to install it. There's no other way. Okay, so that's not really QTP. That's really to get used to how to do how to practice automation testing without actually installing any tool into your system. Okay, not tool, but you need to install that app. This app in the browser. That's it. There's no major downloads. GBs of downloads to install and install databases, install scripts, install C++, distributable. All those things really not required. This is a simple app, just 2 MB, 3 MB. That's it, and you can practice it without actually installing system in your system. Okay, any more questions? That is correct. If somebody asks, right? So before starting to QTP, you need to know all the application. That's right. Because QTP is little bit advanced. Okay. Why? Because you are using regression testing only after manual testing. You're not doing regression testing before. So all things you supposed to know that has been done, because regression team depends on QA. They have to depend. They depend on manual. Okay. So okay. So before starting, okay, so you need, so they depend on that. So you need to know all the functionalities and application. So that's not really, technically, yeah, that's not possible. Then you need to coordinate. Okay, you need to have this requirement document. You need to look into this. Okay, so you cannot know everything. That's right. You cannot know everything, each and every part of the application. But what you can know is look into this. Most of the time it's a common sense, right? It's like I would see this is a defect 1997. This is not really 1997. This is a defect. Now just let's look into this documents. Documents in 1997. We don't know because document doesn't have any information. There is no document. Now you need to report it. So all these things you need to know. Most of the time it's just observing how you good are you, observing that application, how quickly. So at the end of the day, you are as a regression tester or you are a QA tester or QA analyst, you need to view issues. The more issues you operate, the better position you will be. Okay, because you are hired to make, because to show that the code is broken. So how will you show the code is broken? To open the defects. The more defects you open, any defects, database defects or anything. So you don't have to be perfect in everything, but you need to be good at observation skills. You need to really be good. This button is not working, and this, URL has issues. All these things. Okay. So you don't have to be perfect in every application. You don't have to be perfect, but you need to be good at observing how things work. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. So if no one have any questions, can we close this class for today? So that's about QTP. Tomorrow, we just go through this certifications. If people have not completed certifications, we'll just go through that. And really quick, we'll go to Team Foundation Server and let's see how this works. So that is one more test management tool. Okay, Team Foundation Server. We'll go through this and the same time we'll discuss about Kanban, because in Agile we didn't discuss about Kanban, right? We discussed about Scrum. So we will go through that tomorrow. So you will also be good at Kanban process. So if no one has questions, can we close this class for today? Okay, thank you guys.